Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for a new crochet tutorial for the Sunset Breeze dress this time. I'm really happy to share with you how you can make this dress, which features simple stitches but also nice details that will give this dress a nice and polished look. I hope you will enjoy this tutorial. I hope you will try to make this dress. So let's get started. So for this dress I used Friends Wheel from Hobby. This is a sport weight yarn with a mix of acrylic and cotton. The recommended needle is 3.5 I think, but we will be using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. For all the edges you can switch to a smaller hook size if you want. We'll first work the top part of the dress, and we will start with the back panel, and the back panel is divided in two sections, so the top and the bottom, and we will start now with the top. I will chain 121 stitches for size extra small. If you want to adjust the number of stitches according with your gauge or the yarn, you will need to have a multiple of 2 plus 1. Now I chained 4, and into the 7th stitch from the hook we will work a double crochet. Next we will chain 1 and skip 1 stitch, and into the next stitch we will work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 and work 1 double crochet in next, and we will repeat this to the end of the row. We have here the last stitch, so we will work 1 double crochet into the last stitch and then chain 4 and turn. We'll skip the next 1 chain space and work 1 double crochet into the next double crochet, then chain 1, skip the chain space and 1 double crochet in next, and we will repeat to the end of the row. At the end of the row we will chain 1, skip 1 chain and go with a double crochet into the 3rd chain. Chain 4 and turn, and we will repeat the 2nd row until we will have, for my size, 16 rows. Now we will start with the short rows section because we will shape the shoulders of this shirt. And we will decrease at the beginning and at the end of the row. When we will decrease at the beginning, we will work slip stitches to skip those stitches that need to be decreased. For the first row, I need to skip the first 4 stitches. And to position the yarn into the 5th stitch, I will work 5 slip stitches into the first 5 stitches. So now your hook and yarn needs to be here on the 3rd double crochet if we are counting the first 3 chain as a double crochet. And we will start our row from here by chaining 4, skip the chain space and work 1 double crochet in next. And we will continue to work into the same stitch pattern, but we will stop and finish the row when we have 4 stitches left. Okay, so I have 4 stitches left. Now I will turn without making any chain, and we're starting the second short row, and this time we need to skip 6 stitches. So to do so, at the beginning of the row we will slip 7 stitches to position the yarn into the 7th stitch or the 5th double crochet, counting the last double crochet as well. When you're working the slip stitches into the chain space, you can go under if you find it difficult to go through that chain stitch. And then we will start our row by chaining 4 and continue to work into the stitch pattern until we have 6 stitches left. Now we will repeat these 2 rows as required. I will work 7 short rows, but you can adjust this depending on the desired neckline width. So if you want to be smaller, you can repeat row 1 or row 2. Now after finishing 7th row, we will cut the yarn because we will continue with the second section of the back panel. Remember that from the remaining stitches that we have on the neckline, we will use for the shoulders 5 stitches for each shoulder. So take this into account when you're adjusting the number of short rows. Now we will start with the section 2 of the back panel, and we will work into the foundation chain. We will rejoin the yarn being on the right side into the first foundation chain over there, and we will work on detail edge, let's just say it like that. So we will work the first row in single crochet stitches, so chain 1 and work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then we will continue to work into each stitch across single crochet stitches. I know it's about black yarn, but I really wished for a black dress, and making it in a different color for a better video tutorial was a lot of work, so I hope that you will get it. So here on this row you need to go with the crochet hook through the chains. This will look better, but it's okay if you're not able to go through that chains. You can go under, and we will continue to the end of the row. And now the wrong side row, to have a nice line, a detail line, we will work front post single crochet. This will turn the V of the stitch on the right side of our work. So just front post stitches around each single crochet. And we will continue to the end of the row. And after finishing with this line, we will continue working on the length of our back panel. Now being a top down, you can adjust the length. If you're working the dress, because you can also work only the top if you want, you can you need to work it until you get around the belly button area. Okay, so this is where I want the top to end up. I worked in total 22 rows, and for each size I even in the written pattern I said that you will need to work 22 rows. Although you will be working for the top part more rows for bigger sizes, and this might end up, you might end up needing less rows on the section number 2 to get to the waistline. So it's better for you to just decide how long you want this top section to be. Yeah, and after finishing the first row, we will repeat it, and I will work 22 rows in total. If you want to adjust the length, feel free to do so and work as many rows as you need. Now the back panel is finished, and we will start working on the front panels. But first we will need to straighten the shoulder, because we now have those stairs from the short rows. So I will start with the right shoulder, and we will be working this short rows edge like this. So we want to avoid having any gap when passing from one short row to another. And to do so, we will do 2 stitches together on that bridge. But first we will rejoin the yarn, and at the beginning of the row I have the 4 stitches that I slipped. You might have those slip stitches and it might be difficult to get through them, but with a bit of attention where placing your hook, you will be able to get through. So we will first work the first 4 single crochet. This edge will be in single crochet at least the first row. And when we are getting to that bridge, we will work 2 single crochet together. And because I wanted the first leg of the 2 single crochet together, of those stitches together, you can yarn over. This will make this first leg a bit higher, and then I'm going into the side of that chain 3 at the beginning, and then into the top, and work those 2 stitches together. Now I pass on the next short row, and now I continue with the remaining stitches. So the first stitch was work together, so now I have to work 5 more single crochet until I will get to the next bridge, to the next side stair of the short row. Now this was the last, and now again yarn over, go into the bottom of that stitch with a hook, and then again insert the hook into the top of that stitch and finish the stitch together. And now again we're going into the space, chain space, yes, because the first stitch we did it with the 2 stitches together. Again, I have the slip stitches, so it will make it a bit difficult to get through those stitches, but you can do it. Now the last one, I had only 3 stitches here, and now I have the bridge again. So yarn over, go into that first chain, because I have a 3 chain at the beginning, then into the third, and finish the stitch. And we will repeat this process until we get on top and we pass all the short rows. And after we got on top. This is the last stitch. I'm on top, so I need to make the last 2 single crochet or 2 stitches together, because the first leg is not quite a single crochet. And after I finish this, I got on the top. You can stop here if you want, but I will work 4 more single crochet to make the neckline shorter and this shoulder a bit bigger. Okay, so now I finished the shoulder. So this is how this edge is looking right now. And now we will turn. Now it's looking much better. And now we will turn and work 1 row in front post single crochet to create that nice line on the shoulder. Okay, so now we are going around a single crochet and working front post single crochet stitches. And we will work to the end of the row. Now at the end of the first row, I will have 39 single crochets. If you want to make sure that you have the necessary amount of stitches, you will need to count the stitches that you decreased, and basically those that number needs to be the shoulder stitches that you need to have. Now after finishing with this shoulder edge, we can start with our right front panel. This is how the shoulder edge is looking so far. So now it's looking nice and straight. And now we will start to work with the front panel. We will first work only into the shoulder stitches, and then we will add the needed number of stitches to complete the front panel, to be half of the back panel. So now into the mesh stitch pattern, we will work the first 4 rows. So now we are simply chain 1, skip 1 stitch and work 1 double crochet in next. Now we will finish the row, chain 4 and turn, and we will work 4 rows only into the shoulder stitches. Now that we finished the 4 rows, at the end of the 5th row, we will add those needed stitches to complete the front panel width. So we will work the row as usual up to the end, and at the end of the row we will add the stitches but into a foundation mesh stitch pattern. So I will show it to you right away. And because it will make it easier, for the size I'm making, I will need to add 11 windows. So now to start, we will chain 1 and then yarn over and insert the hook into the side bottom of that double crochet and pull out the loop. Now yarn over and go through the first loop only twice, yarn over and pull through 2 and then through 2. So the first chain that we did, it's actually the separating chain, and the second is the leg, the foundation of the double crochet. Now at the bottom here we have like a chain, like a V, and we will chain 1, yarn over, and go with the crochet hook into that V. I know that is not that visible. So here into the bottom of that double crochet, we will go with the hook there. So into the bottom of that double crochet. Yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pass it through the first loop only twice, and then yarn over and finish the double crochet with pull through 2 and through 2, and then we will repeat. So again, chain 1 and yarn over, then go into the bottom stitch of that double crochet and repeat the same process. This will recreate a mesh stitch foundation row, and we can expand this 5th row with this type of stitches. So now I added 11 windows, and now I will chain 4 and continue with the front panel. I divided the front panels into sections as well, separated by that line in single crochet and front post single crochet, because on the section number 1 of the back panel we had 23 rows with the short rows counting from the neckline, but here I need to stop with my first single crochet row of the line to be on the right side, so I will work 22 rows for this first section of the front panel, and we are counting from the shoulder, so not from this chain stitches over here. So now we will work 22 rows, and then we will be adding that separating line, those 2 rows in single crochet and front post single crochet, and then we will continue with the length of the front panel. So now I will be working those rows and we will need to work the line together. So after I finish 22 rows, we will add 1 row in single crochet and 1 row in front post single crochet. Make sure that your single crochet row is on the right side. And if you want, and if you have a different number of rows for the back panel, I split them almost in half, but you can make this division as you like. You can place this line higher, or if you want, you can skip it as well. But if you did it on the back panel, then substitute that line with 1 more row in the mesh stitch pattern. So now I will work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. And then after finishing this row, we will chain 1 and turn, and we will work front post stitches, front post single crochet stitches. After finishing this row, we will continue into the mesh stitch pattern. I will work 23 rows this time, so I will have the same number of rows as for the back panel, but when you're counting the back panel, remember to count from the top of the neckline, so from the neckline. So because I couldn't work 23 rows in the first section of the front panel because of that line that needed to work on the right side, starting on the right side, I will work 23 rows on the second section, and in this way I am working the same number of rows as for the back panel. The stitch pattern allows us to do so because it looks the same on right and wrong side, so it won't be any problem. Now that we finished the right front panel, it's time to go to the left front panel, and we will start with the same shoulder edging. So I'm starting into the 5th stitch of the neckline. Remember that we took 5 stitches on each side for the shoulders, and I will work 1 single crochet into those first stitches, and then the same way as we did with the right front panel or right shoulder, we will need to make those 2 stitches together to avoid having gaps. So when we got to the last stitch, we will insert the hook and make the first leg, and then yarn over and go into the bottom of that side stitch. So it's a reverse basically of what we did on the right front panel. So now we will continue with the rest of the stitches on this side row, and the last one. Now I have the separating chain, and then I will go into the bottom of the side stitch and work those stitches together. So it will be the same process, also the top of that side stitch and the bottom, only that this time we will start with the top because we are getting now down and now not going up as we did on the right front panel, because we started from the neckline because we need to work also on the right side. So let's do it one more time. So now I am on the top stitch, first leg, then yarn over and going into the bottom of that side stitch and finish them together. And we will continue until we will finish and get to that first stitch of the shoulder. You'll need to have the same number of stitches as you have for the other shoulder, or count the stitches that you decrease, and you'll need to have the same number of stitches. Now for my size I will need to have 39 stitches in total. So now I finished the first single crochet row, and now we will chain 1 and turn, and we will work the second row in front post stitches. Now after finishing this row, we will start working on the left front panel, and we will work the first 4 rows only into the shoulder stitches, And then at the end of row 4, because this left front panel starts at the neckline, right where we need to add those extra stitches to complete the front panel width, then we can at the end of row 4 we will add the chain stitches, and then when turning with row 5 we will have actually the mesh stitch pattern. So this time is not necessarily to work that foundation mesh stitch pattern to add the extra stitches. So now let's finish the first row, and then we will continue to work 3 more rows, and we will meet at the end of row 4 to add those extra stitches. So I finished 4 rows, and now we will add 22 chain stitches. Remember that we added 11 windows, so you need to add the required number of stitches to end up with the same number of windows. So now we will chain 4 after chaining 22, and into the 7th stitch we will work a double crochet. We will chain 1 and skip 1 chain stitch and work 1 double crochet in next until we will finish this chain stitches. And after finishing the chain stitches, we will continue on top of the mesh stitch pattern to finish this row. And then we will continue with the mesh stitch pattern, and we will follow the same pattern as for the right front panel, working the same number of rows for section 1 and then the section 2. Now after finishing with the front panel, I just work the side edge, starting from the front panel, covering the front panel and then the back panel as well. This is not mandatory. If you want, you can do it. I was making it just to have that polished look of this dress, but if you want, you can assemble these 2 pieces by sewing them or find a different way to do it. If you want to make the side edge, then we will work together the second one. So we will rejoin the yarn into the bottom stitch of the back panel. This time we need to work to make sure that we are working the first row into the on the right side, and this side edge will be the same pattern as for those separating lines that we did on the back panel or on the front panels. So working 1 row in single crochet and the second row into the front post single crochet. And because we are working into the side rows, we will work 2 single crochet per each row, and we will have as a reference the bottom of the side stitch and the top of the side stitch. If it's a chain 3, then we will work a single crochet into the first and then into the third. If it's a double crochet, we will work a single crochet into the bottom of the double crochet and then into the top. And we will do this until we will get on the other side on the bottom of the front panel. So we will work this edge all across both panels. When we are getting to the shoulder edging, there we have, or the other separating lines, there you have 2 rows, so you will work 1 stitch per row. Now after getting to the other end, we will chain 1 and turn, and we will work 1 more row in front post single crochet. Okay, now we will mark the sleeve, the armhole, and first make sure that your bottom front panel is laying right on top of bottom back panel, and then measure the desired armhole depth. I have 17 centimeters, and then count the stitches from the armpit to the bottom and make sure that you have the same number of stitches on front as on the back. Is no point to measure or to count the stitches on the armhole, because you will have more on the front panel than on the back panel because of those decreases that we did to shape the shoulder. After making sure that you have the same number of stitches, we will start to join the front with the back panel. So I will rejoin into the first stitch, and I will use slip stitches to join, and I'm doing it on the right side, and I will go with the hook only through the back loop here on the front panel, which is facing, and it will be also the back loop of the back panel, but it will be the front loop as you're looking at right now in this position. Okay, so I put my hook into the back loop of the front panel, and now I will grab only the front, the loop that is in front from the back panel, and make a slip stitch. And we will continue this joining up to the armpit, and then because we will be at the armpit, we will continue with the sleeve edging, because we will be working a border for the sleeve. So we will go like this to the armpit. Okay, this is how it's looking, this joining. I think it's looking pretty cute. And we will continue to go up to the armpit. Now that we are at the armpit, we can continue and not cut the yarn, but just continue working the border of the sleeve or the sleeve edging. And we will do it, you can do it in the round, but turn after each row. So we will work single crochet stitches. The first 3 rows will be in single crochet, and then we will turn working on the wrong side, and we will work one last row into front post single crochets. So we will finish the first row. I'm working into the joining as well, and then we will slip stitch into the first single crochet. And now I will turn after each row, and we will work 2 more rows in single crochet, and then we will turn and work 1 more row in front post single crochet. And now the sleeve edging is done. We will do the same thing on the other side with measuring the sleeve, making sure that you have the same number of stitches from the armpit to the bottom. You can count the stitches that you have on this side and mark the stitches on the other side as well. After finishing with the sleeves and with joining the sides, we are ready to start working on the front edging, the button band. First, you need to decide on which side you want your buttons to be. I will place them on the right side, and on the left side we will do the buttonholes. So let's just start with the buttonholes. So I will rejoin the yarn into the first stitch. Make sure that you're working this first row on the right side. And the same as we worked on the side edging, we will work 2 single crochet on each side row, and we will have as a reference the bottom stitch and the top stitch of each side row. So this is what we will be doing for the first row. And for the buttonholes band, we will work the first 3 rows, and we will do the buttonholes on the 4th row. So now let's just work the first 2 rows, 1 in single crochet and 1 in front post single crochet. Then we will work the 3rd row, and on this 3rd row is good to count the stitches and see how many do you have, because this will help you out on the next row when you will have to calculate the buttonholes. Now into the frame, into the next frame, I will give you the details on how to calculate the buttonholes. So make sure you're making a print screen and make it easier for you to calculate where to place the buttonholes. So I will have 8 buttonholes in total. I have 84 stitches. So I will start from the bottom, because this is how my shirt is going right now. So this row starts from the bottom of the shirt. So I will work the first 9 stitches, and then I will do the first buttonhole from the bottom. So to work the buttonhole, I will just chain 1 and skip 1 stitch, and now I'm working 9 single crochet again, and then chain 1 and skip 1. And because I allowed 10 stitches per each button segment, let's just say it like that, and I have 84, I will have 4 stitches at the end on the top, which is perfect to not to have the last button to calculate it to be into the last stitch. So now I will continue to the end. And after this 4th row, we will work 1 more row in single crochet. And then to finish this buttonhole band, we will work the last row in front post stitches. Where you have the chain space for the buttonhole, you simply go there and work 1 single crochet under that chain, or you can go through the stitch, but being a buttonhole is better to go under. So now we will turn for the last row, and we will work front post single crochet to the end of the row. Now we finish with the buttonholes band, and for the button band we will work the same 6 rows, only that on row 4 we don't need to make the buttons. What I did after finishing the button band, I placed stitch markers on the stitch where the buttons needs to be placed, because this will make it easier when you will have to sew the buttons. It will be easier for you to just take off the stitch marker and place it and sew the button. Now we will continue with the skirt. The shirt, the top part is done, and we can continue with the shirt, with the skirt. But first we will work a waistband, and this will be where the cord will be placed to accommodate this dress with your waistline. So we will start working now on the waistband. So first we need to make sure that the buttonholes band is laying on top of the button band, because this is how it should be. And we will rejoin the yarn being on the right side into the side seaming. I want my round to start from here. For the waist and for the rest of the skirt, we will be working in the round, meaning that we will join the beginning with into the first stitch, but I will turn after each round as well. Now the first round will be in single crochet stitches, so we will chain 1 after rejoining the yarn, and then we will single crochet into each stitch. When working into the chain space or that chain stitch is better, as a personal preference, let's just say, to work through that stitch. In this way your edging will look nicer and neater, better than if you're going under the chain. Now we are here on the button band, and we want to make sure that this is one over the other. And when working the single crochet stitches, make sure that you're going through both layers. Here you have 6 rows for the buttonhole band and the button band. So you will work into each side row 1 single crochet. So we should have 6 single crochet work like that through both layers. After finishing with the last stitch, we simply continue and work around in single crochet stitches. If you want to have this as a blouse, as a shirt, you can simply go only with the bottom hem without joining the buttonhole band. Now let's just continue to work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the end of the row. At the end of the row, we will slip stitch into the first single crochet. And now I will chain 1 and turn, and the second row will be front post stitches. So we're trying to make this front post edging almost everywhere. So we will work the second row as well into front post stitches. Then after finishing the second round, we will work a row into a double crochet So we will turn. I just chain 3 and turn, and I will work 3 double crochet and then a space. This will make it easier, so chain 1 and skip 1 will make it easier to insert the cord to these holes. So I came up with a pattern of 3 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and again 3 double crochet. Even if your stitch count is not a multiple of 4, as you need to complete this round with this pattern like even, but even so I will continue and repeat these 4 stitches to the end of the row, and we will see how the row will end up. So I have here, actually I had a multiple of 4, so I just skip 1 at the end and slip stitch into the first double crochet. Now we will work also on the right side another single crochet row, and then the last row will be with front post stitches. So this time I didn't turn, I just continue on the right side because I need to have that front post stitches round on the wrong side. I tried once to make it on the right side, but with back post single crochet, but it's not looking the same. So we will finish this row in single crochet and then work 1 more row in front post single crochet, and then we will start with the skirt. Okay, at this point we will start with the skirt. I think you already calculated with how many stitches you will need to increase the skirt circumference to get to the desired fit. I will have to add around 15 stitches. And to do that, I won't do the increase on the first round, but on the round 8. If you want, you can make your increases right into the first round. I wanted to have because my hips are a bit lower than this first round, I said that I will continue working a few rounds without making any increases and add those stitches later. So my skirt measured in circumference at the waist 104 centimeters, and I wanted to have 110. If you like it like so with this fit, you can let it as it is and without making any increases. Now after round 8, I will start with to add those stitches. And I will work the first stitches up to stitch 33. I think I calculated how many stitches do I need to work to the first increase by dividing the total number of stitches to the number of that I have to the number of stitches that I need to increase, but divide them by 2 because on one increase you'll be adding 2 stitches. So I worked the first stitches up to the increase, and then into the same double crochet I will work 1 double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet. And I will repeat to the end of the row and then join into the third stitch, and then I will continue to work into the length into the same stitch pattern. I will add a slit at some point for the skirt. This will be for me at around 45, but if you want, you can add it earlier depending on where your skirt or where you want the slit to start. In total, I worked for the length 74 rows. But if you want to make it shorter, longer, then please feel free to adjust the number of rows that you will want to add. Okay, I finished 44 rows and I place a stitch marker where do I want on my leg to be the slit. You'll have to cut the yarn because we started our rounds on the side, and if we don't want the slit to be there but on our leg, then we will need to cut the yarn and start from where we want the slit to be. And I place a stitch marker and we will let one chain space for the slit edging. This chain space will accommodate the slit edging because we will be working some edging on the slit as well. So I will start from the next double crochet and we will go all around into the same stitch pattern until we will get to the single crochet that is right before the chain space that we marked, and that will be the end of the row. And from now on we will continue working until we finish the desired length. I work 30 more rows, so I said that we'll have 74 rows in total, and I work 30 more rows to complete the length of the skirt of the dress. Of course, if you want to make it shorter, longer, then you can adjust the number of rows as needed. After completing the length, of course, that we will work the edging for the slit. You can see that I have 2 shades of black. That's why I try to alternate the colors so it won't be the difference too big. Yeah, I think it was a different lot with the yarn that I ordered, and that's why it was different in shade. We will work the slit edging, of course, with 1 row in single crochet and 1 row in front post single crochet, and we will because we are working into the side rows, we will do 2 single crochet per each side row. That chain space that we let for the slit will accommodate this slit edging, but we will still have to use the needle and make sure that those edging are overlapping one over the other nicely. So now we will rejoin the yarn starting on the right side of our work, and we will work a single crochet into every stitch. And when I'm saying stitch, you already know we did it a couple of times before. So we will work into the bottom and into the top of that side stitch. At the end of the first single crochet row, because it's ending on that chain space that we let, we can go with a slip stitch and join this edging with that chain space that we let to accommodate this edging. We'll not be able to do the same on the other side, but for the other side we will use the needle to secure that edge, that border. Now we will turn and work the second row with front post single crochet. I work the first stitch as a regular single crochet here, And then we will continue with the front post stitches to the end of the row. At the end of the row, we will chain one and cut the yarn, and we will continue with the other side of the slit to work the same both rows. Because it's necessary to start on the right side, now we will need to start on that one chain over there. We won't start into the chain space, but we will start into that first stitch, and then with the needle we will make sure that the edge of this edging it's nice in place, and it won't be in air like it will have there her sister, the other side edge, to join. So now we will do the same on the other side of the slit with one row in single crochet and the second row in front post single crochet stitches. We finished both rows, so now you can see that that edge of this edging, I don't know yet how to say it otherwise, but when we are weaving in the end, this end, we will make sure that it's nice and on top or over the other side edge. So this slit will look nice and beautiful. So now with the needle, I'm trying to secure this, and I will place my needle into the other side. Let's see. Doing my best over here, but don't worry, there won't be too many stitches that you need to go through, and it has to look nice in the end. Okay, now we will continue to hide this end, and then we are done with this step, and we can continue to work the bottom hem edging of the skirt. For the bottom hem, we will use the same pattern as for the sleeves or the bottom band. So those 6 rows, 1 in single crochet, 1 in front post single crochet, then 3 in single crochet, and 1 more in front post single crochet. So it will be the same edging as for the sleeves, or we did the same on the bottom band. I'm not saying the buttonholes because it's a bit different from the holes that we let for the buttons, but anyways, it's kind of it's the same pattern. So the same 6 rows pattern. So we will need to rejoin the yarn on the right side. For this bottom hem, as well as for other edges that you worked, you can use a smaller hook size if you want. This one being a bit a few more rows, and because we are not working into the side edges, into the side rows, I will recommend to use a smaller hook size because you are working stitches into the chains, and chains needs to be a bit smaller, a bit narrower than a regular stitch. So it will be a good idea to switch to a smaller hook size to make sure that your edge won't be wavy. So after rejoining the yarn, we will continue and work one single crochet in each stitch, and then continue with the pattern that we used for the sleeves. Okay, we finished with the bottom hem, and now we are moving forward to the collar. In the meantime, I sew the buttons, and now we will be working the collar. For the collar, we will work the first 2 rows, one in single crochet and one in front post single crochet, with all the stitches including the button band and the buttonholes band. But starting with row 3, for the rest of the collar, we will let the buttonhole edge as it is, so not working into those stitches as well. We are working only the first 2 rows into all of the stitches, because we want the buttonhole band and button band to have a nice edge as well. And then we are moving forward and start again the row from the stitch, the first stitch after the band. I did the shirt first, and the collar, I worked the collar into all of the stitches, and at some point it's kind of overlapping and not looking nicer. So that's why I said with this dress to try differently. So now let's work the first 2 rows. You already know this edging because we worked it so many times so far. So let's work the first 2 rows, and then I will show you how to start the collar. Okay, so I worked the first 2 rows. Now I will need to cut the yarn, and I will count 6 stitches or 5 maybe, depending on how you see that it's overlapping, and I will start my row from over there, and I will finish the row with the same number of stitches, letting at the end of the row those same number of stitches without working in them. Okay, and for the collar we will work in single crochet stitches for as many rows as you want. I work in total, I think, 18 rows, but if you want, you can work it as a tunique or a lower collar. Is up to you. How do you want this collar to be? If you want to make like a shirt collar, then you will need to work a few more rows to make it, folded, and to have enough rows to fold it and look nicely. Okay, after working all the rows for the high of the collar, and if you want to have of course that edging with single crochet and front post single crochet, then you will need to cut the yarn, and we will have to rejoin the yarn because we want to work the side of the rows as well into this couple of rounds. And you need to make sure that your first single crochet row is this time on the wrong side because we want that edging to be showing when we are folding the collar. So after finishing the length of the collar, we will be rejoining the yarn here, and we will work on the side rows, and then into that corner we will work 3 stitches, then go single crochet into each stitch to the next corner, and then again 3 single crochet and working on the side rows, 1 single crochet in each side row, and then we will turn and work the front post single crochet stitches. Now for the cord, this is super easy to make, but of course you can have maybe you want to use a belt, maybe you won't need it, is up to you. The idea is that you will have to chain 3rd times, maybe 4 times, but 3rd I think it will be enough, the waistline circumference, because we will be working slip stitches after chaining, and this will shorten your length a bit. So let me show you on a small sample how you can do this this cord. If you want, you can make a Nike cord, Romanian cords. There are plenty of other patterns that you can use. So first you will need to chain the required number of stitches. It doesn't matter how many, you don't need any multiple of any stitches. And after that you will slip stitch into each stitch across. It will make it easier if you're keeping the stitches looser. So simply go in each stitch and work a slip stitch. Then if you want, you can let it like this, but if you want to be thicker, then you can continue and work slip stitches. You can work them into the back loops, into the front loops, wherever you feel like it's easier for you to insert the hook. I personally saw that if you want to make them into the regular stitch, so through the back loops as they are showing right now, it's kind of difficult, so you can use the front loops as well. And this will be how you will place or make the cord, and then of course place it through the holes that will let them for the waistband, and the dress is done. I really hope you will like this dress. I really hope you will make it. Can't wait to see it in different colors. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.